My name is Kadeem, and I am going to help someone today. First, I just need you guys to click that like button right there so that we can get this video started. Alright, let's do this. 2020 has definitely been an unconventional year, to say the least. It's been rough. I mean, rough. Going back to March, April, when colleges practically kicked everybody out of school and everything shut down, I don't think anybody was prepared for that when the new year started. I know we were all saying, 2020, this would be my year. And now it's almost October and it's almost November and we're still in a pandemic. No one saw this coming. I definitely would have rather not been in a pandemic, obviously. The classroom has changed dramatically, and online classes may be here for some time, which means that if you're able to adjust to online classes well, then you may learn something good today and be able to take that forward, into next semester that may be online for you too, and maybe the semester after that, hopefully not. I'm going to share with you how some students have dealt with coronavirus, how they've dealt with online classes, how they've dealt with getting still straight A's during this unprecedented time. And hopefully you can take away something from this that you can use. Okay. So the first thing I want to share with you guys is that I want you to have a separate space from your bed that you do work in. Whether you're in your house or in your dorm, I'm not staying on campus this semester. I'm staying at home. But even when I'm at home, I have a separate space from my bed that I can do work in. There are several reasons for this, which I'll get into shortly. But I think so many students gotten comfortable with staying in bed, just turning on their laptop, flipping on their laptop, and so many students fall asleep during class, which doesn't help you at all. Now, this applies for anyone in college, anyone in high school, even if you're a graduate, postgraduate, even if you're working an internship. You have to have a separate space from your bed that you're working. The first reason is that if you bring your work to bed, then you're going to be thinking about work while you're sleeping. And so on the back end, you're going to be losing sleep instead of sleeping peacefully and counting sheep, as of course we all do. Ta-da! Let's say you're getting 8 hours of sleep, right? But the 8 hours are crappy. It would be better if you get 7 or even 6.5 hours of solid sleep than 8 hours of crappy sleep. And that's what a lot of college students, a lot of high school students are getting during these times because they're bringing their work to bed with them. Your brain doesn't get a chance to rest, which means that it's not getting enough sleep, which means that you're robbing yourself. Don't do that. I would put here that it's so important that you get 8 hours of sleep. 8 hours of sleep is the best thing. So years ago, I would pride myself on getting 5 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep. No, I don't get less than 8 hours of sleep on any night because sleep is what keeps me going. When I wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, I go to bed at 12 midnight. I'm ready to go the entire day. And then at 12 o'clock, I'm done. You just got to get 8 hours of sleep. The second thing is, when you do take your work to bed with you, then you're being less productive. The bed is comfortable. That's what it's made for. It's an environment, and you train your mind to sleep there. You train your mind to relax. Many of you have trained your mind for 2 decades to associate the bed with sleep. Trying to change that means that once you're working in bed, one side of your brain is telling you to fall asleep, to shut off, to relax, to be less productive, and the other side of your brain is trying to fight that. That's a conflict of interest, which means that if you're going and working in your bed, that is a major problem. You should stop that right now. If you're a college student, if you're in a dorm, you can use your desk, right? If you're at home, let's say your room isn't big enough, you can use one little corner of your room, right? If your house is big enough, go downstairs, go to a different room, go sit in the living room. That works a lot better than staying in your bed. If you can go on the deck, if you can go to the library, you can also do that. Go to a coffee shop, do your classes there. If you have to sit on your bed, at bare minimum, sit up. Don't lie down and take your classes. Bare minimum, have even a corner of the bed that you choose, okay, this is the work portion of my bed and the rest of it is for sleep. At the end of the day, when you're done working, clear your bed. Don't leave your laptop on your bed. Don't fall asleep with your work on your bed. Just sleep. Trust me. Get your 8 hours. Listen, get your 8 hours of sleep. Okay, fair enough. I know I've especially found this hard because, so I have memory foam on my mattress. And so my mattress is super comfortable. If I could stay in my bed all the time with my fuzzy blanket, I wouldn't go anywhere. You understand? It's definitely been hard, but it's worth getting out of bed each morning because when I do sit down to work, when I do sit down to make phone calls, when I do sit down to make emails, all those things, I'm not worrying about if I'm in the right frame of mind because when I sit down, it's work mode. I have a cup of coffee, I have my breakfast there, all these things, it's my workspace, right? Which means that when I'm there, I'm in the frame of mind to work. The same thing should be happening to you, and I want the same thing to happen for you. So that applies whether you're a graduate student, a high school student, a college student, or you're doing internships, you're working, you can share this with adults as well. Have a designated workspace. The next thing that's worked for so many students, I've talked to dozens of students, and they all tell me that they get distracted by their phone. And so a lot of students have been turning off their phone, putting their phone away, putting their phone on silent. And I want to share with you exactly why this works and how it benefits you. Just the idea of seeing the phone on the table is distracting enough. And when you're doing that, you're taking time and focus away from the class that is in front of you. Now, obviously, you realize that if you were in class, you would be focused on the professor, right? But now that you're online, in order to keep and help you to maintain focus on the professor, you got to put that phone away. You got to turn it off. Some students turn off their phone. Other students put their phone in a different room. Some put it under the pillow. I've heard that people put phones under their rug.
That's wild.
I don't think you need to do that. But if your phone isn't next to you, if you can't see your phone and it's off and it's on Do Not Disturb for those who have iPhones, put your phone on Do Not Disturb. This thing right here,
Ta-da!
this thing right here is very distracting,
Aww.
right? So then if you can avoid distracting yourself, then you're giving yourself a win. Now you may be saying,
but Kadeem, what if something happens, and I don't find out about it until tomorrow? What if?
trust me, everything is going to be fine. The world will not end while your phone is off. The trouble is, people want to check their phones because they think that they're going to miss out. And the idea of an emergency is that they rarely happen. If there is an emergency, you would be in class anyway if you weren't online. And if there's someone that needs to message you and they can't wait an hour for you to text back, chances are they're not the best person for you. Get rid of those people. Seriously. I'll give you this quick story. So I was in class and it was maybe around April, just before, the last few weeks of school in May. And a professor had announced a test, right? He announced a test, but I had received a message like 30 seconds right before he announced the test. And the test was a pop quiz in next class. He said he didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that until 10 minutes before the test. Just by chance, I had asked a friend, hey, isn't it weird that we haven't had a final test before the finals, like any review? And he messaged me back saying, there's a test in 10 minutes. What are you talking about? I had missed that entire information just because I had checked my phone. I don't want that to happen to you. But all jokes aside, the fear of missing out is real. And I'm here to tell you that you're not missing out. Turn off your phone. It's just an hour. It's just an hour or 2 hours. You're not missing anything. So this third one is in connection to the first one. But I'm going to label it get up. Get out of bed. I cannot stress this enough. Get up in the mornings and get your morning routine done. Could you guys imagine if your professor showed up in sweatpants and a sweatshirt? Clearly that wouldn't be appropriate. But if you take the same logic as a student, you don't want to be showing up to your classes in your pajamas either, because your impression of your professor would be that this professor isn't ready, this professor isn't prepared. That's the same message that you're sending to your mind, which means that if you want to change that, you have to get yourself ready physically. You have to get up, bathe, brush your face, have coffee, have breakfast, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself so that you can tell your own self, your mind up here, that in fact, I am ready to start learning. I'm ready for the day. It is time to kill some. The real point to all of this is to just be ready for the day. Whatever morning routine you had before the pandemic started, before you went online, that's the same thing that you want to do. So if you got up in the morning and you brushed your teeth, you had breakfast, you bathed, and then you got ready for classes and then went to the door, do the same thing. Of course, except you're not going to the door. But have breakfast, brush your teeth, wash your face, change, and then sit at your workspace and be ready. If you're in the zone to work, if you're prepared for it, then you'll have a much more productive day. And then when the day is done, you can put all that away, change out of your work clothes, and then enjoy the rest of your day and go sleep or do whatever it is that you want to do. Trust me, your mind game is half the battle. The last tip I want to share is that college students and high school students, you have to communicate with people at a higher degree than you did before. Your professors aren't seeing you face to face, right? As much as possible, I do recommend that people do turn on their video in classes. But if you can't, emailing your professor, having a one-on-one meeting outside of the class time is so important. Things like these help you to develop a relationship with your professor. There are several reasons why this works. The first is that you'll learn how your professor thinks and what they're looking for. He or she has a particular frame of mind when they're grading your paper. And the only way to know that frame of mind is by, of course, waiting until they fail you and then asking what went wrong. Or you can be proactive and ask them, hey, professor, what are you looking for? Getting to know your professor is a big deal because the difference between college and high school is that your teachers will actively seek you out in high school. In college, your professors don't necessarily have to do that. So you have to be proactive. You have to get out there and show your professors that you are here to learn. The last thing has less to do with college and more to do with your overall wellness. I feel that so many people, when they switched to online, we got into the frame of mind that we don't need to go outside anymore. We don't need to take care of our own bodies. I want to stop that right now. You need to be going out and jogging. You need to be going out and work. Even if you're not going to the gym, you need to be taking care of your physical body. You need to be taking care of your social well-being. You need to be taking care of your mental well-being. You have to take care of yourself, right? All work and no play is going to stress you out eventually. And bad things happen when you're stressed, okay? So, as a general rule, once a week, just go out and do something fun. Talk to somebody on a phone call. Go out and play a sport with a friend. Visit someone. Play a video game. When all is said and done, I just want you guys to be safe and be in the best frame of mind to take on work as the new normal, whatever this is, right? We're all in this together. Trust me, we're going to get out of this one day. It's not going to last forever. And we're going to come out better on the other side because of all of this. My only goal is to share with you what other students are doing during this time so that you can strive along with the rest of us. Trust me, we'll make it out. But please take care of yourself. Bathe. Go out and have fun sometimes so that you can be in the best frame of mind when you do get to work. Because trust me, nothing is worse than burnout. Nothing. So guys, I hope this video helped you. I hope this video helps someone out there. As I said, my goal is always to help just one person. And if I can do that, I'd be at peace and I can sleep tonight. Alright guys? Peace.